So this odd party of folks make it out. Eventually they make it up to Fort Vancouver. The government, if there is a government in Oregon at the time, is run by the fur trading companies that are there, and at this point in time when they get here, by John McLoughlin. And so they visit with John McLoughlin fairly wisely to talk about what they're going to do. They had originally intended to go kind of more towards the Walla Walla area, north of the Columbia River, kind of in that southeastern Washington area. But John McLoughlin decided, you probably shouldn't go there. His reasons to the missionaries, to Jason Lee and his party, were, people are nicer down in the valley. You should really stay below the Columbia River. It's nicer, there'll be more people to talk to, and you'll have a better farming area. It'll be great. Historians later on have kind of thought, well, maybe this is John McLoughlin thinking a little more politically, that he was hoping that the dividing line between Oregon, or between the American-held territories and the British-held territories, was going to be at the Columbia River. And so him being kind of sneaky, saying, go below the Columbia River, leave your thoughts behind there. So some think it's more political maneuvering, but it worked, and they decided to come down to the Willamette Valley area and settle about 13 miles north of here in the area that's known as Willamette Mission State Park today. There's some talk that maybe Jason Lee had some political leanings himself, and that he had met with the federal government, and they'd kind of given their blessing. So maybe he was kind of scoping out what was going on there to see what was going on. So I think in some part it was smart to go talk to John McLoughlin, make sure he was on board. You got to also remember that John McLoughlin was, and that Fort Vancouver was, the economic epicenter of this area. So you kind of had to be friends with John McLoughlin, I think, because he was the leading authority, and he held the purse strings for a lot of the different supplies that you could get here. So, yeah, I think it was probably a very nuanced relationship.